Rack 2 control. That's a really cool feature that we just started on that end over there. We'll go into that in a second. But Rack 2 control effectively, you still can pick your cooking type, but in that, you're saying, I want to cook multiple items, different items on each rack at the same environment, but different times. So we just started a seafood program, seafood mix. So we've got broccoli, we've got crab legs, we've got shrimp. If you come up here, we've got 5-minute timer, 6-minute timer, and 11-minute timer for broccoli. Now you might be wondering, will the seafood taste like broccoli and vice versa, broccoli like seafood? Because our machines refresh air every 3 seconds, we're able to prevent any kind of flavor transfer and things of that nature. Now the vented holes on the broccoli pan, we obviously put that on the bottom so it doesn't drip down on any of the protein. But beyond that, so if you look here, right, we're cooking at 210. We'll talk about the benefit of that in a second. So we're steaming 210, 3 drops, 3 different timers. Basically, within your menu, if you can find similar products that cook under the same environment, you can execute this feature. Matt has a concept that actually does Monte Cristo's pork chops and grilled roasted vegetables at 450, all in the same chamber, just on the rack timer. So they're able to do pork chops here, veggies, Monte Cristo, all in the same chamber, which to me is operationally mind-blowing. It's really cool stuff for sure. Talking about 210, so steaming at 210, the reason we do that primarily is, so when you're steaming, boiling point is 212, right? So you steam at 212 typically in any kind of machine. By steaming below the boiling point, very similar to the pressure fryer, when we did that earlier, we talked about raising the boiling point, getting closer to the temperature we're cooking at. Well here, same concept, but the opposite effect. We're going below the boiling point. So with seafood specifically, usually when you're cooking seafood and selling seafood, you sell it by the pound. Well, when we buy by the pound and we can cook under boiling point, we're actually cooking out less of the moisture in the product, therefore getting a higher yield from our seafood or product in general. By doing so, when you sell by the pound, you're able to, as a restaurant, as a concept, bring in more dollars to your bottom line because your product weighs more due to being able to cook under 212. So it's pretty cool stuff. Space Saver Team, meaning 2 units. Difference between a team and a stack, which you can do. A team unit has both controls up top, so they're together. 6-pan, 10-pan. This here is a 610 team unit, full size. These come electric only as well. This bar right back here, but because of our Flexi Rack system, we're the only combi in the market that allows for a full sheet tray to get all the way back and avoid that bar that's standard in a Series 1. Power, again, I mentioned that Series 1, Series 2. If you're doing tons of frozen retherm products where you're loading the chamber out, Series 2 might be for you. It's able to maintain and get power quicker and faster. But if you're doing kind of smaller proteins, veggies, things like that, typically you can get by fresh stuff. You can get by with a Series 1. You could do a 6-pan and a 6-pan stacked on top of each other. You'd have one control up here with one 6-pan and one down here with the other, and a stacking kit in between to where they can be conjoined together. Again, the smoker attachment here, this can come on a 6 or a 10-pan. Typically, if you get a 6 or a 10 solo, you would get some type of combi stand, and then rack accessories, things of that nature are optional. The smoker here, through that, is a wood chip option. Essentially, fill this with wood chips, throw it in, set your smoke setting. Typically during an actual smoking operation, you would refill chips depending on how aggressive your smoke is every 20 to 30 minutes. Nice thing about that, so for us, we sometimes do an overnight brisket for customers. The way that would look is we throw the brisket in around 2, we do a 2 or 3 hour smoke, depending on type of wood and flavor we're trying to go for. And then we set it from a smoke after 3 hours into a combi setting. That's when we go home. We show up in the morning just like today, versus a pork butt, we've got a nice smoked brisket. One of the big questions that comes up a lot of times with combis is how do you clean them? Most of them are self-clean, but a lot of them are a little more hazardous than what we have to offer. Ours are actually no PPE necessary, wax-sealed tablets. I threw one in already there, so we should be able to take a look at that towards the end of the demo here. Wax sealed. It's a 2-part compartment. Touch wave clean, it pops up. 3 options, short, normal, or extra. That's essentially 1, 2, or 3 hour options. The 3 hour uses the same amount of water as a 1 hour. It essentially recycles the water throughout the cleaning. So if you're someone who cares about water usage and things of that nature, you can still do a 3 hour cleaning and use the same amount of water waste that you would use on 1 hour. Once you select your option there, we'll call it 3. Checks for water pressure. It asks you to insert cartridge and close the door. Cartridge, wax sealed again, no PPE. Slides right into that, and that goes there. These racks can be inside of the combi during cleaning. Typically, you would not want to have any of your other accessories that might not hold up as well inside of a cleaning cycle. Bag gets closed, cartridge inserted, so there's some accountability things to make sure you got everything started and up and running. You select yes, off it goes. All right, so we talked about it. We're grilling here under a combi steam setting. Combi cooked, right? So we've got the nice sear on the grill, but if you look at the protein, the moisture content is just, I mean, it's awesome. Cooking at a crazy dry heat, convection setting 482 for 5 minutes. The way we're able to do that is basically flat plate. So we're mimicking searing, right? Olive oil, salt, pepper, very simple scallop, right on the plate. What's cool about that is scallops are considered to be a super fragile item, right? As far as cooking in the kitchen. And for us to be able to, again, set it, forget it kind of mentality, throw it in, one quick flip and pull it out. And you've got very consistent scallop.